Hello, everyone. My name is Viktoria and I'm a medical educator and a researcher at Université Paris-Cité. We have chosen the topic of science communication because of what one of my teachers once said, who told us that if you don't communicate, it's as if you haven't done research at all. In other words, the key to gaining impact in the scientific field is communication. Three key words would be it's useful, it's pragmatic, and it's timely. It's useful and pragmatic because of the lack of such curricula in the current biomedical field, and because of its very pragmatic approach to teaching and learning, mainly because it allows students to understand how they can reach out to different audiences. It's also very timely because we know that in the era of citizen science and social media, communication is a very important cornerstone, a key to success. Number one, one of the most important reasons is the lack of such curricula in the biomedical field. Other than that, we know that other than the pure scientific value of your research, the impact you gain will come down to the way you manage to sell it. So that's why you should certainly read and study this chapter. More than that, it is absolutely vital for researchers to learn to communicate with different audiences, because communication will make the difference between an excellent researcher and an excellent researcher who has impact. As mentioned before, the chapter focuses on how to reach out to different audiences, both in writing and in an oral form. As for writing, of course, we will put an emphasis on how to write a scientific article. Several standards will be explained, but the main focus will be, of course, on the APA standards in thorough detail. Other than that, still concerning communication with the scientific community, the ins and outs of writing a cover letter to sell your article to the editor, and also how to write a letter to the editor will be discussed. Also, on the less scientific, concerning the general public, it is discussed how to communicate on social media, how to write a popular article, and how to create a scientific blog. And then as for oral communication, the focus will be on how to sell your research to the general public, including how to use storytelling as a tool, but also how to create a vlog, how to create a podcast series, or how to give a successful, brilliant TV interview. My role in Conscious 2 is that I'm in charge of three interdisciplinary chapters: leadership, science communication, and training the trainers. My personal background is essentially, it's been for 20 years in science communication. And my understanding is that traditional curricula put a lot of emphasis on how to communicate with patients, and also on making scientific presentations. However, there's very little about how to write an article, how to sell your research. And this is why we have chosen this topic. Also, I think it's extremely important for students to understand how important adaptability is in science communication, meaning how to adapt your language use, your style, the communication platform you use to your message. The pilot teaching in this case, in the case of this chapter, completes the written chapter on a conscious platform, in that it completes it with a very pragmatic how-to-do approach on the peer review process, how to go through with it when you're the author, but also on how to review an article. The other very important added value of the pilot teaching concerning this chapter on science communication will be the presence of a professional science communicator who will share his wisdom and experience in the field, especially focusing on storytelling and how to use storytelling as a tool in science communication. And he will also talk to us about how he has created a podcast series. And finally, students will get the possibility to interview him about his experience.